And then she gets a curious look on her face. May I ask, what brings you back? All of you. You obviously do not know what is taking place here. What reason do you have to travel down this part of the world anyway?
The greater good, Pearson says.
So, so, I don't know how up to date you are on your history. You remember King Halden?
She nods.
That's King Eodrin right now.
She raises an eyebrow and then says, I always thought the man was stubborn, but I never considered him insane. Are you suggesting that he has been manipulated? Somehow?
Couldn't tell whenever I arrived. From my understanding, upon visiting him, a failed assassination attempt has sent him off the deep end.
I see.
The entire city of Ironhall has been shut, completely isolated from the rest of the nation.
Her eyes widen at that.
For 3 weeks. Longer now, as we had to travel down here.
I see. That is a grievous affair indeed. And you came down here hoping my husband could rectify it?
Yes, hoping that your husband, the prince, would be able to transition power from his broken father to himself. Otherwise, I would not have bothered, what with the realm being invaded by demons, and the entire land of Ardenfell at risk. My time is thin.
She nods and she says, she walks away a bit, considering what you said. And then she turns and she says, then we are in a difficult position.
Yep.
I know my husband would not risk ascending the throne while this, and she motions to the others, dirty little secret could, well, it could unseat him.
So it has to be solved one way or another.
She nods. She says, I am... No, it is not time to speak of such things.
What do you mean?
She looks up at Pearson. Understand, I may have no love for my husband, but I do respect him as a person. No matter how unreasonable and selfish he has become. If he were on the throne, I feel that he would be an adequate ruler. However, he must be brought to justice for what he has done here. And the people of Coalhaven... She pauses. While I understand that if they were to find out what happened, it would cause many problems for Coalhaven and yourselves, I can assure you that he will either destroy us, in which case you get what you want, or, and she pauses, if my husband were unfit to take the throne, I could take it in his stead.
Mm-hmm.
She nods. I know how that must sound.
Yep.
I am simply pointing out facts. I do not wish his death.
Well, if what you
Frankly,
say is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame you.
Frankly, I don't want to see anyone's death, not because I particularly care. I do on some base level. But frankly, we need a strong Coalhaven to fight these demons. So we need to find the path of least resistance, as my old mentor used to say.
Perhaps, if the wizard can be found, and even if he couldn't cure, if he could bring some humanity back to the others, they might be convinced to, well, to hide the secret. However, I doubt they would be convinced to not bring justice to my husband after what has been done to them.
There is also another option we could possibly do.
Oh?
We might not I don't know how much information Seline, Theoden, and Selene's father has, but we could possibly contact them
And?
ask them if they know of any way
Oh,
without
to
having to
cure.
yeah without having to find this wizard, because apparently only the prince knows where they are.
It's true. If they are wise, they might know this whole wolf disease.
Yep. And all three of them together would be a lot of knowledge.
They would. That's actually a very good idea.
Yep. And I could use my ring to communicate with them face to face, if needed.
All right. I say we go for that idea. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like it too.
All right.
Okay.
That means yes in Jarek speak. if it's not a no, then it's not a no.
Miss.
Yes, my name is Elise. I
Okay.
am no
Elise.
longer the princess, as my husband has made clear, so therefore titles are not necessary.
That's okay. Finn's not a princess either.
Fuck you, Pierce.
Would it be okay? The way the way that we communicate to the Sunset Tower is, it takes a bit of time. Would it be okay if we were to stay here for a few hours?
She nods. You helped one of my brothers. You are welcome here, as long as you do not bring harm to my kind.
Okay. Then I will take out the book and start writing in it. And ask for a meeting with Lady Seline, Theoden, and I can never remember Celine's father. I think it was Francis.
Yes, Sir Francis.
Yeah. Sir
Francis.
Francis, I think we should get on a boat, you guys.
Steam? Well, Steam's all right, I guess.
little vampire. God damn it, Francis.
I hate werewolves.
And I will also make a note of what is sort of happening. All of that. Without having to actually write it down, if that's fine, GM.
Okay, sure.
All right.
All right, so it will take some time to get the response. What would you guys as a party like to do in the meantime? You are, of course, given stay there as long as you need.
I know what Cole would want to do.
My God,
Another
let's
bath?
duel this woman. This werewolf.
Fight me!
That's when I
He's
reveal the transponder underneath my tongue and all of the guards.
Underneath your tongue.
What?
Yeah.
Dwarven technology is amazing.
I use the wish stone for this.
Worth it.
Prince Adrian comes in. Ha ha, you harlot, we've caught you. And she's like, damn it.
Foiled again if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
And they're transponders.
It's like I take back everything I said earlier about you being upfront with us.
You motherfucker. That's why he's gritting his teeth so the transponder stays in his
That's right.
throat.
That's what it is.
Jesus.
That's how he communicates. This is on and off button. Cole is actually going to confront. I already forgot her name.
Elise.
Elise?
Elise. Okay. And he's actually going to be extremely upfront with her and go, look, I've been a bit I've been stirring a lot because I have been itching for some action. Do you have anyone that is willing to spar around here?
With that, she grins and she says, all werewolves have bestial tendencies that must be addressed, yes. She's saying, are you offering?
I don't know exactly what tendencies you mean.
She grins again. We are a mix of humans and wolves. Wolves always are on the hunt. We commonly wrestle and chase each other to keep from, well, harming those who do not deserve it.
Cole's that sounds like fun.
She takes a few steps away again and she says, I cannot promise that you won't be injured somewhat.
Cole's just waiting to for like a person to point out some guidance, anything. Like, what? I'm sitting here just waiting for you to be like, that guy over there, wrestle him, and I'd be like, hey.
Oh, no. She actually starts transforming back
Okay.
into a werewolf. And in about 30 seconds or so, she says, I've never faced an orc before.
I haven't faced a... What are you called?
She grins again. Elise.
Elise before.
Okay. How would you like to handle this?
Well, you can either have it as a straight up brawl, or you can have it as a sort of just physical wrestling thing. Race, what would be. There's a lot of different options.
Well, actually, I mean, I'm aware of all the options. I'm asking your preference.
Oh, I think probably not something that was more of like, maybe like a more of just skill challenges just to make it quick, because I'm quite sure everybody else wants to do
Got it.
things.
Let's keep it nice and simple then. Roll me a strength plus daredevil plus your level.
What?
Daredevil, I think, would certainly be apt at the moment.
Alright, hang it if you insist.
What would you? Well, you are welcome to make an
No, I
argument
don't
for
have
something
a
else.
different one. Why'd I roll a 2? Of course.
If you were dual weapons, you could reroll it. Fuck you.
You guys wrestle back and forth. It is clear that this creature is incredibly powerful and agile, and she doesn't have any of the skill that you've come to expect from a well-trained warrior, but her instinct is amazing. Very similar to what you would find in a beast of the forest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And she very quickly overpowers you. And basically puts you on the ground and sits on the small of Cole's back triumphantly. And then after a moment stands back up and says, "It was more difficult than I imagined."
I would say it was a warm-up, but that is only if we fight again, but I'm sure my friends would like to... Actually, we think we have some time. Now that I remember our situation.
You are welcome to wrestle like others, and we'll just roleplay it as that's what Cole does.
All right.
I will say that many of the others are not quite as good as she is. So, all right, others. While you wait for a response, it's going to take a few hours, so you have several hours to talk to anyone or do what you would like to.
There was a little Spanish flea. He heard of the monkeys, the Beatles, the chipmunks he saw on TV. Why not a little Spanish flea?
Finn will just be just playing with her daggers, like attacking like a tree or something.
All right. Should I just fast forward? I'm assuming there are no interactions that anyone wants or needs.
No.
No, yeah, we're good.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and fast forward to the response, which is paraphrasing from Seline. Interesting. Yes, let's chat.
All right.
So, who wants to go?
More
I'll
talking,
go.
F that.
Okay. I will be offering Elise the ability to enter my home.
Okay. She
Anyone
will
else?
Cole is not going to be doing that. He's done with talking.
Okay. Finn, Pearson.
I guess I'll take along. Why not?
Okay.
I'm
Pearson?
coming along.
Okay. Jarek.
I came back just in time to be asked whether I want to go to the house, right?
accept. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will watch over you while you are unconscious.
Keen will stare at Jarek for a bit and remember that Jarek just threatened to kill him not too long ago and go, "Hey, Kip, do you mind watching over me too, please? Little
Kip?
buddy?"
Kip, looks from Keen to Jarek and says, I guess. And then he looks at Jarek and shrugs, not really understanding.
Jarek shrugs at Kip too.
I told him that God. Okay. Anyways, we enter my dream house.
You all into the dream house, and sitting at the table is Lady Seline, Sir Francis, and Theoden.
Yes.
And Lady Seline says, "Oh, Elise, it has been some years. I hope you are well." And Elise says, "Not as such, no."
Please, everybody make yourselves comfortable. I'm going to be getting drinks. Anybody need any snacks or anything? I will be getting them as well. Start conversing. Go.
Okay, I'm just going to say that Elise informs them of what's happened, because I don't want GM talking to GM too much here.
Good call.
And when you are done serving the drinks and all that, Lady Seline is fairly caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "So," and then she looks to you guys. What exactly is the plan?
Well, if I recall correctly, the idea would be if we could somehow get the werewolves' memories back, or the ability to transform back to human form, that kind of thing. Supposedly there is a mad wizard that only the prince knows about that actually did this whole curse thing. And I was hoping we didn't have to go back to the prince, because I might have pissed him off royally.
I get it.
Lady Seline raises an eyebrow and she says, "You're not giving my reputation a bad name, are you?"
I don't think so.
She
It was
she
a-
sighs.
It was a moment of weakness. I'm sorry. He just... Ugh.
Right. Well, you will find one day, Keen, that in diplomacy you must constantly smile at those you loathe. However,
Yeah.
a lesson for another day. So, you were wondering if we can help.
Possibly. If you knew of any Actually, if you knew of any spells or anything like that that would help us, or even the location of this guy, if you have heard of him before.
Lady Seline ponders and then says, I've never heard of real werewolves. Theoden shakes his head and he says, most of the tales you hear of werewolves are simply people that came across gnolls and didn't know any better. A real werewolf, a mix of a man and a wolf, that's not something I'm familiar with. Francis says there was experiments long ago that ended up much like, as she looks to Elise, you mentioned. However, I was never a part of it, and those who tried them died centuries ago. I'm afraid that our knowledge is lacking in this regard. However, my daughter does love puzzles. Lady Seline nods eagerly. She says, I don't know werewolves. I've never seen one before, but if I could study them. And then she starts like mumbling to herself. And Francis continues, in any case, as for the other wizard, I can think of one that was alive when I was still. Deveril. And he looks to Theoden. And Theoden looks, no, not him. He, really? And Francis shrugs. And Theoden turns back to you guys and says, Deveril, if there was a I was about to say definition in the picture. That's not something this world would know. If you ever needed a finer example of a mad wizard, Deveril was certainly one. He would come up with something like this. It would be just like him. If he still does exist, and if this was him, I wouldn't know how to find him. But I could tell you how to talk to him. Understand, most of the time he'd be as likely to turn you into an unsavory water creature as speak to you. If it is him, Theoden says slowly, and I stress if, you will need to look for a wizard tower, made of whatever land you're in. If you're in the jungle, it would probably be composed of trees and vines. If you're in the woods, it would be trees and, well, trees. You get my meaning.
Yeah.
If you come across such a thing... He sighs. I can't believe I'm saying this. Offer yourselves as experiments given to him by Theoden. That will at least buy you enough time to converse with him. After all, he wouldn't want to ruin his test subjects before he has a chance to truly use them.
The look on Keen's face as he's staring at Theoden is one of, are you fucking kidding me?
Finn has a similar look.
Theoden shrugs and he says, I did say he was a mad wizard.
Okay.
He was incredibly powerful, though. I would think he would be capable of something like this.
Yeah.
And then Seline looks back to Elise. And you chose to become one? And she nods and then describes why. And then Lady Seline says to you, the party, obviously our biggest concern is a unified Coalhaven. However, I don't wish to see harm come to anyone in this matter. I leave it up to you to do what must be done. But let your morals guide you.
Okay. Hey, Elise.
She nods.
You've been around these woods quite a bit, right?
I haven't seen such a tower, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I was gonna ask.
However,
Okay.
the jungle is vast, and I have not even searched a fraction of it.
Yeah. Well, we could send Kip to try and find it.
She nods.
Pearson, Finn? What do you guys think? Should that be our next move, or should we just go back to the prince and try and ask?
Well, we should. Ideally, I think would be best if we avoid the prince for a little bit, maybe. But I don't know. I guess it wouldn't hurt to have Kip scan the area and just maybe we'll get lucky. But I don't know. I can't think of anything else we could do to locate it. And honestly, even if we go to the prince, he probably won't tell us.
Yeah.
We have 2 long shots. We might as well try both of them.
Yeah.
Kip
And when
first
they
and then the
both
prince?
inevitably fail. Oh, yeah.
That's
Sure. Let's
our
send Kip
positive
out.
thinking, Finn.
Yeah. No.
All right. Before we actually exit, which I think is where we want to go, right? We want to exit and go back
Yeah.
to the real world. Okay.
Yes.
Before we go, Keen will ask Seline how Olivia is doing and all that.
Olivia's doing well, and of course, out of politeness, she would mention to Pearson that his family is still, for lack of a better term, under lock and key and safe. There have been no attempts or of any kind, though as fortified as they are, anyone would be foolish to try.
What about my uncle? He's a pill, ain't he?
She sighs. He complains so much.
Uncle Pill.
That sounds like good old uncle.
Uncle Pill? Pill! Pill!
Here comes the high elf guy. Pill.
She also says some good news of sorts. We have begun our noose, and it is going well. We have managed to push Azil's forces back into the Freelands completely.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a mass suicide. You scared me for a minute.
She looks. Seline looks at Finn with like the look of strange, like what? And then she's like,
A noose.
and people say I'm odd.
Finn kind of pouts.
She pats Finn on the head. There. I am odd. She says, in any case, if all goes well in Coalhaven and we continue this pace, the war might be won before the year is out.
Good. Before we go, I have one last question. He's going to look to Seline, then look to Theoden, look back to Seline. Are you happy? Things good?
Francis chuckles. And Theoden looks uncomfortable. Seline says, not that this is exactly the time, but we have much to work out. Theoden,
bed.
Theoden sighs and says, when I was the Lich King, I was compelled by... Well, think of it this way. If the Lich King was a thing, it lived in the back of my mind, constantly talking to me, coercing me, urging me to do very horrible things. Things that I don't think I would have done otherwise. The question that even I'm unsure I can answer is, how much of that is responsible for what I did, and how much do I bear? The question that I'm sure Seline is judging right now as well. After all, I was a monster.
And it's not going to be easy.
And Seline says, and plus you were always selfish and self-centered.
Hmm.
And Theoden shrugs at that, like, yeah.
And I'm sure if you need tips on changing, you could possibly ask Pearson.
Huh?
You've gone through basically the same exact thing.
Are you
Pearson won't say anything.
Theoden
was about to say
Pearson
something, but
wonders
stopped
if he ever
herself.
led an army of undead.
Theoden
But I know
looks
what
to
he
Pearson
means.
and says, were you cursed with the undead?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Pearson would say I was cursed with a violent upbringing.
Keen's just going to point at Pearson. And what changed your mind again?
It was love. Finn just pipes in, like making a squishy face.
Keen will point at Finn.
Yep.
What do you mean? What are you pointing at me for?
You're right. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Keep that in
Yay,
your
go
mind.
Finn.
Okay?
Francis laughs out loud and he says, so, a woman changed you, huh?
More than just a woman. It wasn't just some pretty face. It was who she was completely and what she taught me. She taught me there was another way and I fell in love with her. It's just...
No, Finn, go ahead and finish.
No, that's it.
Francis holds up his hands. I did not mean to insult. I was once shown the error of my ways by Celine's mother, so I understand. I think what our friend is trying to say here is that perhaps Theoden might find redemption in Seline. Seline rolls her eyes. And Theoden just kind of stares at Pearson more seriously than he's ever done before.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's saying anything.
Well, Pearson's good to get going.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was basically what I
Talking
wanted.
about love ain't gonna cure these fucking werewolves.
Damn
Yep.
straight.
At least I should mention, by the whole, it has this entire time has a pale face, and as you're leaving, she goes, "Lich King."
Oh, yeah. He is our ally. Used to be the Lich King. I don't know what happened, but he died. I resurrected him because I'm a dragon, and
I imagine this is being said as you walk out, and then like halfway, like you guys wake back up, and she sits up and she says, you're what?"
yep.
So Jarek and Kip, all they hear is Elise sit up and go, "You did what?"
Yeah.
Jarek, without missing a beat or even looking, nods in understanding.
She shakes
We
her
needed to
head.
win this.
"You're a dragon."
Keen will roll his eyes, and two bright blue wings will sprout out of his back.
The werewolves around kind of startle, and she does as well, and then she says, "My apologies for doubting."
He's gonna shrug. I wasn't always a dragon, but it's new. It's fun. He's
Like
going
cocaine.
to he's going to fold his wings back into his body, and all of that. And unless there's anything else that she's gonna say.
No, she's just going to, as everyone wakes up, she's going to say, "I understand the situation you're in. I understand that your problems are bigger than mine. Know this, I will do anything and everything I can to aid you. If I could convince the werewolves to forgive and forget, I would, but I can tell you now that will not happen. not to the prince. If you choose the best course of action is against me, I will not hold it against you, but know that I will fight with my brethren.
It's understandable. I personally think that we're more interested in trying to help you guys and try and get as little bloodshed as possible, if you understand me.
She nods, and she says, "Earlier I said it wasn't time to speak of such things, but perhaps now it is. There is a possibility, a way to get Aedrin to be more amenable, more willing to help search for a cure."
And that is?
She points to herself. "Do as I did. Become one of them." If he were bitten, he would be very motivated to find a cure.
That is true.
That is fucking shady. That is shady.
Yeah, that is shady as fuck.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should infect all the scientists with AIDS. That will motivate them to find the cure a little bit faster. That is fucking shady.
Yeah, it is.
Holy shit.
I'm curious, does Pearson react in character anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll blink and he'll say, "That's fucking shady."
She nods and she says, "It is, but if you are to, for a second, assume what I said is true, is it any less than he deserves?"
I feel that he's a dick. But that's
but
If he truly did subject countless innocent soldiers to this for his own gain, I would not personally feel it was unjust for him to experience it himself.
And you, a woman, would want to rule with thoughts like that. For shame.
She looks at you and very quietly says, "A month ago, I may not have thought that way.
Oh?
But a ruler must be concerned with justice at all times."
Doesn't sound like justice to me. Sounds like manipulation. And I know manipulation.
She cocks her head. "It's not justice. He subjected countless innocents to such a thing. Is it not the definition of justice that he experienced it himself?"
No, I'm not going to moralize with you. You said your very words. The first thing you said was, if he were to have the same curse, he would be motivated to find a cure. Then, once I balked, you rationalize your moral justice. Don't sugarcoat it. You have a means to an end. And I'm saying it's shady. For someone you care about or don't care about. If you want, just don't fool yourself, all right?
She holds up her hand. She says, "I never intended to suggest it wasn't devious. My apologies if I gave that impression. I am merely trying to find a way to save my people."
Yeah. Well, how about we find a way that doesn't involve infecting more people with what you got?
Despite what I said or suggested, I truly would prefer such an outcome.
Good. Then start working towards that. We'll put your other idea to bed right now.
She nods and says, "Very well. I will send what werewolves I can in search of this tower."
Later on, at some point, you would hear, or perhaps Pearson would confide with one of you. I'm not too sure. Well, she said a month ago she wouldn't have suggested that. For Pearson, it's the opposite. A month ago, he would have suggested that, and his outrage is equally surprising to himself. But that's just a philosophical thing. We don't need to dwell too much on it.
Yeah. Question, GM. What time is it right now? Would it be
11:23
nighttime?
p.m. Central Time? Oh, I'm sorry. No, it is. Yeah, actually, it would be about nighttime at this point. After
Okay.
the several hours of waiting and talking to Seline, yes.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, Kip can see at night, correct?
Yes, he can.
Oh boy. Oh, Kip, buddy.
Yes.
Would you like to do us a favor?
He looks at you like his head backs up and he goes, "Why do I get the feeling I'm not going to like this?"
Well, you might. I don't know. It's something different from just staying down here with us. What I'm asking is, we are trying to find a tower, and Jim, are there vines here?
Yes.
Okay. It will very likely be primarily made out of trees and vines. We're just trying to find it. Would you like to fly for a bit?
Kip said, "Oh, you just want me to go find a
Yeah.
tower?" Why
Yeah.
did you say it
Um,
all, I don't know, creepy like?
Vines and
I'm
shit,
sorry.
Kip.
Like, would you like to do us a favor?
No, all we need to know is the location. Do not go anywhere near it. We just need to know where it is. And then we need you to come back to us with its location.
A tower
That's
of
all we
trees and vines. Got it.
Yes.
He starts to like fly like up into the air and then like hovers for a second and says, "Wait, aren't all trees towers?"
This will probably be bigger. Bigger than the tree line.
So a big tree
Yes. And vines.
and vines.
And there may or may not be lights coming from it.
As he repeats every word, his voice sounds less and less sure, but he goes, "Got it. Big tower made of trees and vines, possibly lights. I'll do my
Yes.
best."
All right. Thank you.
And he flies off into the night. All right. So werewolves are going to go search for it. Kip is going to go search for it. That will
Yeah.
take some time.
I will have something before or after he actually goes, before we actually move on.
Okay.
Keen's gonna look at Elise and go, "My stepson." Huh? Huh? Yeah.
Elise, who had been looking at Pearson thoughtfully, looks to Keen and nods. As if
He's a good kid.
Yeah. Not quite sure what to make of the whole situation. Let's put it this way: the lady is a werewolf now, and she still thinks that this whole situation is kind of weird.
Join the fucking club.
All right, that's it.
All right. Is there anything anyone wants to do? Do you want to wait until the results of the search are in? What
Yeah.
is the game plan? Okay.
I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
Jarek's not comfortable waiting here in the werewolf camp.
Okay, where would you like to wait?
Not with the werewolves.
Okay. We can have our own camp with booze and hookers. Actually, forget about the booze and hookers. We'll just have our
Damn
own
it!
camp.
No.
Blackjack. We can play blackjack.
Play blackjack.
Maybe not make light of it.
I think.
The blackjack?
Blackjack's a serious.
Can we set up this new camp and then have Kip go from that camp?
I'm fine reckoning that.
Okay, because otherwise he would come back here and not know where the fuck we were.
Yes, that would
So-
be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that then.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. We'll just set up camp.
Not a problem.
All right. Okay, so you set up camp, and then let's see. Here's what I'm going to do. Someone roll me a percentage die. Basically, this is to see if Kip can find what you're talking about. Luckily for me, I already had ideas of what the tower is like in my head, and so it's easy to determine how likely it would be for him to find it. If someone would please roll me A D100.
I can do it. Boom! 26.
All right. Okay. That is. I'm gonna go ahead and call it enough. It's 6% off. That's fine. Kip comes back and says, as he lands, he goes, maybe I found something.
Good. Where is it?
Glad.
Well, it's about a day's journey that direction, he says. It was the oddest thing. It wasn't any taller than any of the other trees, but it had like a cone shape that I see on so many towers.
Ah. That'd do it.
I think that's it.
20 gold, he's going to lead us just to a weird-shaped tree. All right.
All right, but we should head over there.
Lead the
What are
way.
we doing?
What?
What are we doing?
You're going to see the wizard?
Yeah, we found a wizard, possibly. He's in a wizard tower in that direction about the day's travel.
My understanding was that the prince and those of Fort Vigilant would be the only ones with such information.
We talked to Seline, and
I'm familiar with where you went when you were unconscious.
they
I'm not sure
said
how they would know anything about what a wizard of this era doing down here in Southern Coalhaven.
they said it might be him. It might be an acquaintance of Sir Francis.
All right.
From a more of a strategic point of view, Jarek, the werewolves themselves are limited by looking on the ground, where Kip was able to take wings. His vantage point gave us an
I'm
advantage.
familiar with flying capabilities.
Well then, the point is, there's a tower. We're going to investigate it. There might be a wizard there. The wizard might be mad, but he also might be the solution to this whole fucking mess. And if he's not, then we're still back at square one.
And how are we going to approach this possibly deranged wizard who might have some information about this curse?
Well,
Fuck.
My suggestion
fuck.
is just get some mud, get some twigs. I'll teach you all how to move carefully in the woods, and we'll surprise
shut
him.
up, Pearson. Finn shoots him a look.
Camouflage.
We're supposed to go there and say that we are experiments for him from Thaden.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. How did I forget about that?
Yeah.
I gave him a dirty look and everything.
Yeah, so did I.
This wasn't so much Francis's suggestion as my personal tormentors.
Yeah, Pearson says there was no point in bullshitting you. Yeah, it was his idea.
Right, well, I'll follow along, but I'm not interested.
All right. Can you keep Kip with you?
I don't keep Kip. Kip goes as he pleases. I'm not his master.
Okay.
Jarek shoots a look at Kip.
Kip
Kip?
shoots a look at Keen.
Kip, I don't want you to go into this tower because it will very likely be dangerous, and him seeing you as a dragon will probably want to turn you into something very, 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 very bad, or do something very, very bad to you. Because you are my stepson, I do not want any harm to come to you. Okay? I would like you to stay with Jarek, please.
Kip looks at you for a while indignant and then says, Keen, I would not like you to enter the tower because I'm worried that the wizard may see that you're a human and turn you into something even smaller than what he could turn me into. And since you are my stepfather, I'm worried.
Pearson says he's got a point.
Keen's eyes will grow big and start to water up.
Love is a
You're
two-way
worried?
street, and Jarek will interlace his fingers.
Kip's like, why are you crying?
Nothing. Nothing. I just have something in my eye.
He looks to Jarek and says, I don't get you humans at all.
In
Keen
fact,
is happy that you are so worried about him. He doesn't understand that these feelings of love and care are mutual, and that while he is greatly concerned for your well-being, so you are of his.
Kip points to Jarek and looks at Keen. He gets it.
point is, in fact, Jarek, your trepidation might be a large advantage for us. We are dealing with a mad wizard, and this is pretty much as risky as it is voluntarily becoming slaves for some demon's gladiatorial pit. It will be very advantageous for you. It will be very advantageous for us to have a devoted ally on the outside to pull our ass out of the fire if it most certainly might come to that.
Sure, without any gnomes around, I imagine I can attempt to assist you.
Let me give you an early thank you in case I'm not able to say that. Because we'll be captured by a mad wizard.
Wait, okay, so you want to volunteer yourselves as experiments. What's
Yes.
the move after that?
See, that's what I was trying to think of. More than one step.
So you
Yeah,
head to
just
you head
improv.
to the tower and we're experiments sent from Theoden, and hopefully the wizard won't know that Theoden is no longer the Lich King, or so he says. And then you what? Try to figure out whether he's the one who created the curse, get in and take a tour of the facility, try to sabotage it, steal a this is werewolf cure serum. What are we looking at?
I'm thinking since he's mad, we could please him in some way. Not that way, Finn.
Sorry.
But in a way to see us as valued to him, whether it is doing a task, saying things he likes to hear, performing in certain ways. If we please the mad wizard, perhaps we can gain some sort of information or trust.
I don't suppose you were given any more data about this mad wizard in an attempt to appeal to whatever sensibilities he may possess, other than he's mad.
Mad people tend to act unpredictably, so having
Yes, having a plan for that is a bit...
difficult.
Yeah.
Hence why you are so critical to our plan, Jarek.
Well,
Suppose that's fair.
Jerry snorts and says, I'm not sure whether I agree with you volunteering to become experiments, but it is your decision.
I don't really know what else to do if we don't.
Pearson shrugs. It's either this or killing a whole lot of other people, so I guess it's worth the risk.
Yeah, Theoden said this is the only way to talk to him.
If
We might just need to say, "Hey, we're experiments from Theoden. Hey, let us in," and then he lets us in, and we just fucking talk, or something.
well, I will mention this, not knowing of the wizard myself, but if he is so prominent enough to have been known by individuals as old as Seline's father and Theoden, then he's had a few years to hone his craft and make his home.
Yeah, he's very rustic, probably.
Servants and power have nothing to do with rustic.
Oh, that's what you meant. I just thought you meant he was very old and was very wise and. Never mind. I don't.
Mad and wise
I'm new
don't
to
tend
magic.
to be the same.
Fuck.
You've accumulated considerable power. Any entity he might have, it's far beyond me to predict. I'm sure you'll be fine. The group managed to, in fact, escape from the gladiatorial arenas of a certain demonic lieutenant. Surely you'll go 2 for 2.
God's willing.
You're not going to try and be sneaky and run off while we're doing this, are you?
Sneaky? Me?
But why are we laughing? Are we laughing? I don't know why we're laughing. Did I say
Here's
something
some
funny?
shrugs. I don't know. I don't think it's that funny.
Look at
funny.
me.
Question.
Couldn't sneak in a jungle if I tried. Come on.
Okay.
He'd creak too
I was
much. Come on.
just checking. I was just... leave me alone. Finn
No.
kind of pouts again.
It's not like I can fly or anything.
Finn raises an eyebrow.
Because Finian might not have noticed. Well, Finian might have, but Kriana, I know she didn't. Jarek flew
Yep.
in order to terrify guards to let the party into the city of Ironhall. Jarek
Oh,
cast
boy.
a flight spell upon himself and took
Oh.
off.
Oh, God.
More specifically,
Fly-
just to show them how pointless their job was, because he could just fly right over.
Whee! Yeah.
I believe it's what caused the other guard to retire early.
Yeah.
There we go.
And the epilogue will talk a bit about him.
Yeah. All right.
That'd be hilarious. Okay.
So
anyway.
I believe the party's plan is to head to the tower.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Unless,
our plan, or this is a fucking Firefly fucking Farscape-esque type of plan, which is part 1, talk to Matt Wizard, part 2, question mark, part 3, to be determined. We're gonna play this shit by ear.
it's more like
I
part
love it.
3.
If there is a
You
part
guys aren't going to have Malcolm Reynolds to assist you out of this
That's-
I know.
situation.
I know. This is
I
fucking
know.
terrible. We need it.
No, wait. We don't need Malcolm Reynolds. We have Pearson, the Bone Splitter, fucking Cullimore. We'll be fine.
It's not as cool of a nickname as Mal is.
Does that
I know.
does
but,
that make Finn
fuck that.
River?
I just don't
No.
want to be Wash. I
You
just
know
don't want
what?
to be Wash.
No, it makes Finn that hot ass prostitute because she kisses everybody for stuff.
Just one person.
Why can't she be the engineer?
Yeah, why can't she be Kaylee? And Jarek's Zoe.
I'm alright with you, Zoe. I'm alright. I just don't want to be Wash.
I'll
Hey,
take the
I'm
bullet,
hap-
guys. I'll be Wash. Come on.
Hey, I like how I'm Malcolm Reynolds in this.
Does
Let's
that
keep
make
going.
Cole is either Jane or Preacher? Or Bishop, I mean.
Preacher.
No, he's
He has to
River.
be Bishop.
He's River.
I think Jane is more suiting for
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, I
Alright.
guess.
Anywho,
We'll, unless there's objections or anything else anyone wants to do, we'll go ahead and end the session here and start the next session after you've journeyed to the tower, close to the tower.
someone
Yeah.
draw the Ardenfell people as dudes from Serenity. Someone out there do it. All right, anyway.
All right.